For numbers 5 through 8, we have to go from rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. So now we're going rectangular to polar. And we remember that r is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared, and theta is the inverse tan of y over x. So those are the two things that help us find r and theta. So for number 5, we have 3/2 and -3 square root of 3 over 2. Now that is in quadrant 4, so we'll keep that in mind when we go to pick our inverse tan function. So the first thing we do is r is equal to the square root of 9/4 plus 9 times 3, which is 27/4. So that is the square root of 36/4, or 6/2, which is 3. Okay, so r is 3. And then theta is the inverse tan of -3 square root of 3 over 2 over 3/2. So that would be 2 times -3 square root of 3 over 3 times 2. So the 2's would cancel out and the 3's would cancel out, and I get negative square root of 3. So inverse tan, theta equals inverse tan of negative square root of 3. So where is tangent in quadrant 3? Quadrant 4 equal to negative square root of 3. That would be over 3 1, the 5 pi over 3. So theta equals 5 pi over 3. So 1, and this is the one where if it's between negative to 0, if you get between 0 and 2 pi, they want you to give 2. So we have, what was it? 3? What was r? What was r? 3. Yeah, that's what I thought. 3, 5 pi over 3. Okay, that's the rectangular to polar. And then -3. Okay, now here's where, here's 5 pi over 3. Its corresponding would be 2 pi over 3, right? And so you back up. If I want to be here and I'm going this, I back up to get to -3. So -3, 2 pi over 3 would be my other coordinate. So those are the two coordinates for number 5. Number 6, I have negative square root of 3, -1. That's going to be quadrant 3, so keep that in mind. R is the square root of 3 plus 1, or the square root of 4, which is 2, so we get R is 2. Theta is the inverse tan of -1 over negative square root of 3. So you get the inverse tan of square root of 3 over 3. In quadrant 3, where's the square root of 3 over 3? Think. Square root of 3 over 3 is the pi over 6, so 7 pi over 6. Okay, so that's the right answer. So our first point would be 7 pi over 6. And then the other one would be -2. And let's see what's behind 7 pi over 6. This is 7 pi over 6. And if I'm backing up, I'm at pi over 6, right? But I'm going this way, so that's why I get back to the same point. So the other point would be pi over 6, -2 pi over 6. So those are the two answers for number 6. Moving on to number 7, -5 and 5. Okay, that is in quadrant 2. And r is equal to the square root of 25 plus 25, or the square root of 50, which is 5 square root of 2. And theta is equal to the inverse tan of 5 over -5, or tan negative 1 of negative 1. So in quadrant 2, where is tangent negative 1? That'd be 3 pi over 4, right? So our first point is 5 square root of 2, 3 pi over 4. Okay, so that's the first one. And then we're going to use negative 5 square root of 2. And where is 3 pi over 4? 3 pi over 4 is right here. Backwards would be 7 pi over 4. So that would be 7 pi over 4. Okay, moving on to number 8. We would have 3 negative 6. And that's in quadrant 4. That's my cat crying. R would equal the square root of 36 plus 9, or the square root of 45, which is 3 square root of 5. So R is 3 square root of 5. Theta is equal to the inverse tan of negative 6 over 3, or the inverse tan of negative 2. And we have to use our calculator because that's not on the unit circle. So punch in your inverse tan. So second, and then the tan is inverse tan of negative 2. And you should get, now we'll talk about it, I get negative 63 degrees. Okay, so where's negative 63 degrees? It's in quadrant 4, and that's where I'm supposed to be. But we could put that in, what is it in, so like here is negative 63 degrees, right? Negative 63 degrees. But what is that if it was positive? So if we subtract that from 360 minus 63 degrees, we get 297. Well, there was some points there I just ignored. So it was negative 63.43. So 360 minus 63.43. Hang on, I messed up. I had to insert a 0. Gives me 296.57. So the first one is 3 square root of 5, 296.57. And then if I back up negative 3 square root of 5, I'm going to be over here. And so this would be, you would end up adding 180 degrees to this. So negative 63.43 plus 180 is 116.57 degrees. Okay, so that's going from rectangular to polar coordinates.